I never thought my bicycle would become a weapon of humiliation until that Tuesday morning when I found it completely blocked at the school gate. "Hey, new girl, need some help?" Jake sneered as he and his friends surrounded my bike, making it impossible for me to get through. I could feel everyone's eyes on me as I stood there, frozen in place. This wasn't how I imagined my first month at Oakridge High would go. If you've ever been the new kid trying to fit in, hit that subscribe button and tell us your story in the comments below. Everyone has a story, and we want to hear yours. My name is Mia Rodriguez, and I'm 16. 3 months ago, my dad got transferred to the Delta Force training facility near Richmond, Virginia, which meant packing up our lives in San Diego and moving across the country. Being a military kid isn't easy. I've attended 6 different schools, but this one felt different. Maybe it was the East Coast vibe, or maybe it was because this time, I promised myself I'd actually try to make friends instead of just counting down the days until our next move. Oakridge High was everything you'd expect from a suburban Virginia school football Fridays. Homecoming dances already being planned, and social circles that had been established since kindergarten. On my first day, I noticed Jake immediately. He was the typical popular guy, captain of the lacrosse team, always surrounded by his entourage and seemingly nice to everyone. That is, until he wasn't. The bike incident wasn't the first time Jake had targeted me. It started small comments about my military brat status when he learned my dad was in the Army, accidentally bumping into me in the hallways, and the classic forgetting to include me in group projects. But blocking my bike at the school gate took it to another level. "Look, I just need to get to class," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Jake leaned against my handlebars. "What's the rush, Rodriguez? Don't they teach punctuality in military school?" "I don't go to military school," I replied, feeling my face flush. "I just need to get through." His friends snickered as Jake pretended to examine my bike lock. "Nice bike. Did Daddy buy this for you before he shipped off to wherever soldiers go?" "He's not deployed. He's stationed here," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "Whatever," Jake said, finally stepping aside, but not enough for me to pass comfortably. "Maybe learn to get here earlier if you don't want to be late." I managed to squeeze my bike through the narrow space he left, my backpack catching on his shoulder and nearly sending me tumbling. The laughter that followed me all the way to the bike rack burned in my ears. For the next 2 weeks, the bike blocking became a ritual. Jake and his friends would arrive early just to surround my bike at the gate. Some teachers noticed, but wrote it off as kids being kids. Others told me to just ignore them. My dad, when I finally told him, suggested I try talking to the school counselor, but I didn't want to make waves. We just moved here, and he had enough stress with his new position. Then came the day when it seemed like things might change. I was sitting alone at lunch, scrolling through my phone when Jake approached my table. For a moment, I braced myself for another comment, but instead, he sat down across from me. "Hey, Mia," he said, his tone uncharacteristically serious. "Look, I'm sorry about the bike thing. My friends and we were just messing around. We didn't mean to upset you." I studied his face, searching for signs of sincerity. "It was pretty humiliating, Jake." "I know," he said, running a hand through his hair. "My dad's been on my case about being a leader, not a follower. I want to make it right." For the first time since arriving at Oakridge, I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe things were finally looking up. The next morning, I arrived at school to find my bike untouched at the gate. Jake waved at me from across the parking lot, and I actually smiled. Maybe this really was a fresh start. But by lunchtime, everything changed. As I walked through the cafeteria, I noticed people staring and whispering. When I checked my phone, I understood why. Someone had created a fake Instagram account in my name, posting terrible things about other students, including Jake's girlfriend. The posts included photos of me that had been edited to make me look ridiculous, and the caption read, "Military brat looking for attention since daddy doesn't give her any." I thought it was over, but I was wrong. If you've ever been betrayed like this, subscribe for what happens next. It's not what you expect. Confronting Jake after school felt like walking into a trap. "Did you do this?" I demanded, shoving my phone in his face. He looked at the screen, then back at me, confusion turning to anger. "Are you serious? You think I would do this? Who else would it be? You apologize, and then suddenly this happens?" I shot back. Jake's expression hardened. "You know what? I tried to be nice. I tried to make things right. But you're just like every other military brat who comes through here always playing the victim." His words hit me like a physical blow. Before I could respond, his friends appeared, forming a circle around us. "Looks like someone needs to be taught a lesson about respect," one of them said. My heart raced as they closed in. Years of moving, of being the outsider, of trying to keep my head down, flooded my mind. But then I remembered something else, something I hadn't thought about in years. When I was 12, my dad had spent 6 months training me in self-defense. "Not so you can fight," he'd said, "but so you'll never feel powerless." Delta Force training techniques, simplified but effective, were burned into my muscle memory. As Jake reached for my arm, something shifted inside me. I didn't attack, I simply moved. Using the techniques my father had taught me, I deflected Jake's grab, sidestepped his friend who tried to block my path, and found myself standing outside their circle, breathing steadily. The group stared, stunned into silence. "How did you?" Jake began, his eyes wide. "My father taught me never to let anyone make me feel powerless," I said, my voice surprisingly calm. "And he taught me that real strength isn't about pushing people around. It's about standing up for yourself and for what's right." The crowd that had gathered was silent, all eyes on me. I took out my phone and pulled up the fake Instagram account. "This isn't just about bullying," I said, addressing everyone now. "This is about creating a fake account to harass people. That's not just wrong, it's illegal." Before anyone could respond, the school principal appeared, having been called by a concerned teacher. He took one look at the scene, then at my phone, and his expression turned grave. "Jake, Brian, Sarah, my office. Now," he said. "Mia, you too." The investigation revealed that Jake's girlfriend, not Jake himself, had created the fake account out of jealousy. She'd seen Jake talking to me and assumed the worst. Jake had known about it but hadn't stopped it, which was why he'd tried to apologize. He felt guilty. The consequences were immediate and serious. Jake was suspended from the lacrosse team for 2 weeks and had to organize an anti-bullying campaign as part of his reinstatement. His girlfriend was suspended for a week and had to make a public apology. Both had to attend counseling sessions. For me, the outcome was unexpected. Instead of being ostracized for tattling, I found myself the center of attention for a different reason. People wanted to hear about my dad, about Delta Force, about the self-defense training. The school even asked me to help develop a self-defense and empowerment course for students. The day I was supposed to lead the first session, I arrived at school to find my usual parking spot taken. But this time, there was a note on the gate. "Reserved for the bike of the coolest new girl at Oakridge, Jake." He was standing nearby with his teammates. "We wanted to apologize properly this time," he said. "And we were wondering if you'd consider helping the lacrosse team with some of those self-defense moves. You know, for when we're on the field." I looked at Jake, then at his teammates, and realized something important. People can change. Sometimes they just need to be shown a different way. "Sure," I said, smiling. "I'd be happy to help." Looking back, I'm grateful for that terrible day at the gate. It taught me that standing up for yourself doesn't always mean fighting back. It means having the confidence to be who you are, even when others try to tear you down. My dad didn't raise me to be a Delta Force daughter. He raised me to be strong, resilient, and true to myself. And that's something no bully can ever take away. If you're facing bullying right now, remember this. You are stronger than you know, braver than you feel, and never, ever alone. Share this story with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe to The Everyone's Story for more tales of resilience, hope, and the power of standing up for what's right. Together, we can make sure everyone's story is heard.